You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, private-owned pharmacies temporarily shuts down, and an attorney is calling the strike action illegal. And a shortage of teachers on Moores Island poses challenges for the island's education system. Plus, a man went missing at sea in West End over the weekend, and family members are desperate to find him. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Simone Davis. Thank you so much for watching. Topping news tonight. Private-owned pharmacies that are members of the Bahamas Pharmaceutical Association across the country have shut down until further notice. This comes on the heels of a statement released by the BPA last evening, declaring that the association advised its membership to temporarily close their doors beginning today. The release indicating the reason behind the closure is that BPA is seeking consultation with the government as it relates to the recent price control policies put in place by the Davis-led administration to drop the prices on certain medications and provide relief to residents. Shortly after the statement was released, many took to social media to voice their opinions, including attorney Osmond Johnson, who is calling the move an illegal strike action. We also spoke to a local physician about what this could mean for doctors and their patients. There's more in this report.
Our fundamental right of access to medication, they have chosen to use it as a pawn in their political game with the government.
That is attorney Osmond Johnson expressing his dismay over the recent announcement of the closure of pharmacies across the country. The irate attorney says the fact that a national association can shut down the operations of the most critical industry in the world for any reason is irresponsible and shows that the BPA has chosen personal and political gain over patient care.
It is grossly irresponsible for them to issue such a statement in the first place, being fully cognizant and aware of the vital necessity that our citizens must have access to medication. It's objectionable, and I cry shame on all of them this morning.
In a statement released by BPA on Monday, the association notes that following the Price Control Regulation Amendment 2022, BPA has complied with the Minister of Economic Affairs, Michael Halkitis, to offer recommendations to achieve economic relief, and they have yet to receive response from government. Attorney Johnson explaining that the action to strike in this manner is illegal.
I feel that they have not followed the law as it concerns the manner in which this strike action has been called for. If we look at the language in the communique, while it does not use the terminology or the phrase strike and or strike action, it is clear that what they are calling for amounts to a denial of service.
Local physician Dr. Leviticus Roll says following the announcement, medical professionals are now waiting to see how long the strike will last, as private physicians tap into their limited emergency supply of medicine to provide for their patients until further notice.
I understand that this is until further notice. I guess the extent of the problem depends on how long that until further notice is going to last. I mean, a day or two without medications can be a problem for some patients, for many patients.
Dr. Roll says he caters to about 30 patients per day, and of that number, 20 of them need prescriptions for medications. He notes that if the strike persists beyond 48 hours, then the healthcare system is in serious trouble.
Because there's so many patients that are dependent on their medications, and I'm sure you can understand how this can be really problematic, as some medications are life-saving medications.
Meantime, Attorney Johnson says the government has a right to implement policies as they see fit in an effort to provide relief to residents. He is calling on the government to reprimand the BPA for this action.
I am calling upon the government to rightly reprimand and admonish this professional association for having the gall to stand up and utter such an irresponsible statement.
Now, following the announcement of the temporary closure of private-owned pharmacies on the New Providence and Grand Bahama, the Public Hospitals Authority quickly stepping up to meet the public's increased pharmaceutical needs. According to Managing Director in the Public Hospitals Authority, Abinette Roll, PHA pharmacies will be extending hours and expanding staff capacity.
We have done since early this morning, we've extended our hours to the community in Grand Bahama, and so that includes an extension of time by what persons know as the IAT, or where we see outpatients, as well as Pierce Plaza, as well as the 8 Mile Rock Clinic. And what we've also done is we have done a deep dive to see those drugs that are highly utilized, in particular those patients who want drugs for hypertension, diabetes, renal disease, persons who may have some mental illnesses.
The PHA Managing Director says at this time, there is no concern on whether or not public pharmacies will experience a shortage of medication and supplies, as the PHA is doing its best to meet the demand of the public.
We don't appear to have any shortages right now. We are hopeful that, there could be some level of resolution. But right now, I think it's safe to say that we are able to handle what is before us. And that is why we've also liaised with other partners like NHI to be able to assist us. So remember, a lot of our drugs are under contract, and so we have contracts with the wholesalers, and I think the effect right now is really from the retail side, so we are not expecting any challenges wholesale.
Residents on Grand Bahama can visit the 8 Mile Rock Clinic between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m., the Freeport Community Clinic from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., the Hawksbill Clinic from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Pierce Plaza will maintain its outpatient pharmacy services as usual from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pharmacies on Grand Bahama made the move to close their doors today. There were 2 drugstores that made the decision to remain open. Among them, Neo's Pharmacy and Superbucks Pharmacy. Manager at Superbucks, Anthony Saunders, reporting an increase in service and expressing why it was important for them to stay open for customers.
You have people that need medication because we understand the decision of the pharmacies, but we have to look out for what's best interest of the people. We have people with serious conditions, seizures, heart conditions, different conditions that really needs medication, and people been calling that they need their medication. We have a really hectic traffic. We have long lines. We have people calling our phones that we cannot answer because of the traffic inside and trying to assist everybody and trying to get everybody in and out.
These 2 residents also believe that today's incident was unfortunate.
Struggle for them to close this place, because if they close this place, we have too many elderly people that are in need right now for medication and stuff. So
I'm sorry, they could have done this better than this now.
Now, of course, the news that went viral on social media last night concerning private pharmacies in New Providence and Grand Bahama temporarily closing its doors until further notice is a story that we will continue to follow. Stay tuned to the Bahamas tonight at 7 p.m. The Pharmaceuticals Association president explains their position to our Altaviz Munnings. Switching gears now, apparently there is a need for additional teachers at the Moores Island All-Age School. The president of the PTA describes the situation as an urgent one, and tonight she is calling for additional educators. The director of education has responded to those cries. Christine Pinder reports.
The president of the PTA of Moores Island All-Age School, Ms. Angel Riley Davis, is up in arms tonight. She's citing the need for additional teachers at the learning institution in order to better prepare the children of the Northern Island for national exams. According to Mrs. Riley Davis, this vexing situation has existed since the beginning of this new academic year.
We are missing essential teachers in our school. Especially BJC and BGCSE subjects, such as social studies, English language, English literature, and we also need a grade 4 teacher. And our children are at a disadvantage because they have to do their coursework over the internet. And so the coursework aren't as effective because they don't have the teachers on hand.
The PTA president told ZNS News that she has presented the information to the Director of Education and the Minister of Education, and to date, the concerns have not been addressed.
The letters were sent and emails were sent, and they removed 2 of the essential teachers that we had without replacing them, and each of those 2 teachers they had 3 subjects apiece, and so that means that we have 6 vacant subjects without teachers.
Mrs. Riley Davis believes that at least 3 teachers will bring immediate relief to this ongoing situation. Additionally, she says if these teachers are not posted immediately, she will engineer a public protest come Monday. Now, ZNS News spoke with the Director of Education, Mrs. Dominique Russell, who stated that she is aware of the shortage of teachers at the school and notes that it is being addressed.
We have a shortage for a language arts teacher and a social studies teacher. We had engaged a teacher to go to Morris Island, but she declined. So what we've done is we have utilized the virtual school so that the children can have access to learning opportunities until we can send those teachers. We are now waiting on appointment letters for a number of teachers from the public service, and until we get those letters, this is what we will have to utilize. I have also asked the principal and the former school board chairman, if we have teachers who are elsewhere, who are from Morris Island, who wouldn't mind going back home.
For the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition, I'm Christine Pinder.
Still on the education beat, attendance of students on Grand Bahama Island still a cause for concern for education officials. Tonight, the president of Becca Wu is weighing in, claiming that the lack of stability for parents is among the reasons. Jolanda Thompson-Everest reports.
Educators, counselors, and Allied Workers Union President Sandra Major says that the school administrators are doing all they can to encourage students to attend their classes. However, she's describing parents as the main stakeholders in the education system, stating that they are responsible for their child's well-being and success. At the beginning of the fall semester, education officials reported low enrollment, pointing to the inability to purchase uniforms as one of the reasons. Major believes that there are also other factors.
A lot of children have left the island. A lot of parents have left looking for jobs. And so, of course, in leaving, those children would have gone with their parents. I spoke to one principal who said that what they're finding is the children in grade 11 and 12, some of them are saying, well, if I'm not going to graduate, I'm not coming back. So some children have actually stayed, not come back because of that. So, of course, we have to fix that.
She explains that no child can be punished for not having proper uniform, neither school supplies. Major also appealing to parents to step in and work with the education system as they seek to create easier and simpler avenues for the children's preparedness in school.
The school also has a payment plan. Go to the school and work with the school, because we disenfranchise our children when you come back to school a month late, because that's what the schools are saying. Some children did not come in September because the parents said again, no uniform, we don't have the supplies. But then school has started, and so your child is now a month in without being in school, which means we have to either reteach it or your child is left behind.
The union president says that all children are not academically inclined and that it is incumbent upon the powers to also shine on those excelling in technical activities and classes despite not having grade A or B reports.
In the Bahamas need to be diversified, because what we're finding is that not all children are academic. You must understand the technical part of the education system is important, and that needs to be done from the children finish primary school, because some children learn with their hands, not all of them, are good at taking exams. But we should not rule anybody out because they are not good at taking exams. Every child in this country should be given an opportunity to whatever skills that they have to really try and improve on that skill to make this country better.
Major says she, along with her teachers and the Ministry of Education, will continue to appeal to parents to continue sending their kids to school. She says she believes that some changes should be done in the education system. However, she strongly states that children are being accommodated with great efforts so that they can attend their classes. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Julanda Thompson-Everest.
Another sad case to report tonight, as family members are reporting a 46-year-old man from West End, Grand Bahama, is missing. According to his loved ones, Elton Miller Wright was last seen Saturday morning, where he left the ramp in West End to go fishing, but never returned. Our Aja Quant exclusively speaking with the family, who say they need closure in this unfortunate ordeal. Here's that report.
Two men went out in this boat behind me here in West End on Saturday, and only one returned. Now the family of Elton Miller Wright is seeking answers to exactly what happened to their loved one. It was a standard routine for Elton since childhood, going out on the waters to fish. According to family members, the morning of his disappearance he went out but never returned. His fishing partner, on the other hand, did, and immediately reported to the police that he left Elton in the water.
I went over to the station, and the person who goes out on the boat with Ellie, they were in there, and I asked him what happened to Ellie.
Ina says that is when Ellie's partner pointed to the sea to indicate that's where he left Elton.
I said, you left Elton out in the sea? And my daughter, Shani, when she heard that, she started screaming.
I cried out. I had to sit down for a minute, and I started to grab my phone to make calls. I was frantic. I was thinking my uncle is dead.
The family says the fishing partner explained to them that Elton suffered from a seizure, and he handed him a pole to help with his floating, where he rushed to shore for further assistance. Family members were contacted, and that is when officers, residents in the community, and family members all went out and searched for Ellie, but to no avail.
When the other guys came, they came in and they put their boat down, and I think the police was talking to the gentleman at the time, trying to figure out exactly where he was out there. And he was confusing because he continued to say, as Ina said, he went to this key and that key, and so it was a mix-up. And so eventually the guys went out maybe 4 or 5 hours later, and then they looked until maybe, I think it was like 5 o'clock or so, then they came back.
Now the family is asking any local boaters on Grand Bahama to be on the lookout for Elton Miller Wright. If you have any information, you are asked to contact the Western Police Station or the family at 441-1862. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Aja Quant.
Now, just yesterday, the family of 61-year-old Neville Cartwright came forward with the story of him being missing for 3 weeks. As the hunt continues to find 56-year-old Stephanie Chisholm of 8 Mile Rock and 28-year-old Shaquille Ferguson, also of 8 Mile Rock. And when we come back, Older Persons Month celebrated in grand style with 17 precious pearls honored. That story, a whole lot more, including sports, when the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, returns.
The race returns. The GBPA Conkman Triathlon, November 5th at Taino Beach. Register now at conkmantriathlon.com.
The coconut got this, cocoa skin driven madness, juiciness, ice the this, sweet like the sugar in a dripping like ice, honey, addict, all of my love me, sweet like the sugar in a watch it go ba ba ba, 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 sweet like the sugar in a
new clear platinum flavor, flavored beers with a kick of rum, make it platinum. Dealing with your government documents should not be a hassle. Not when you have the proper information. The West GB District Council wants to point our residents in the right direction with the first annual Central Government Agency Fair. Both government and corporate agencies under one roof. Come seek the information you will need to have them sorted out. No one under 15 admitted. Please travel with 2 forms of government ID. Saturday, November 5th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the 8 Mile Rock High School Gymnasium. For more details, phone 348-1080 or 1085. Sponsored by the Honorable Obadiah H. Wilchcomb, MP for West Grand-Bahama and Bimini constituency.
BTVI will be visiting Exuma at the Resource Center located in Hoopers Bay on Thursday, November 3rd, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Assistance with applications, inquiries, and concerns will be available.
King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your number one news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. A special event taking place this past Saturday as the month of October is observed as Older Persons Month. The Ministry of Social Services and Urban Development Senior Citizen Division shining the spotlight on several pillars of the community during an honorary concert at St. John's Jubilee Cathedral under this year's theme, The Resilience and Contributions of Older Women. Raven Davis reports.
The melodious sounds of senior women reverberating throughout the sanctuary of St. John's Jubilee Cathedral, signifying a celebratory occasion. Donning elegant designs, some 17 older women made classic statements during the first honorary concert organized by the Ministry of Social Services and Urban Development Senior Citizens Division. Minister of Social Services and Urban Development, the Honorable Obadiah Wilchcomb, calling the women the backbone of society and underscores the notion that they were the trailblazers for many advancements today.
We must celebrate the fact that the Bahamas has a foundation of very, very strong women. Look at the collection of women here, whether it's education, whether it's a church, whether it's in civic duties, whether it's in providing cuisine for others to celebrate, and the sports. Just think, this collection of women, just remember and appreciate that others have come and now stand on what you built. Maya Angelou would refer to you as phenomenal women.
Now attendees being entertained by special selections and also being presented with plaques and gift bags for their contributions to society, some of them dubbing it a privilege to be honored in such a way.
You know, many times we do a lot of work in our communities and wherever we go, we're not recognized. But tonight, I give glory to God.
I'm very honored and also feel very humbled because I feel like as a person who is making a contribution to the community, it's only something that we should do.
He has blessed us with health and strength and our ministry with children and with the youth. So we thank the Lord for those who saw fit to honor us today.
The occasion marking the last in a series of events organized by the Department of Social Services in observance of Older Persons Month. Officer in charge, Dorothea Gomez, revealing that budgetary constraints made it difficult to host a broader range of activities this year, but she looks ahead with optimism.
I was truly surprised at the turnout we have here this evening. You know, I guess people are now getting out more because of COVID, being locked down. So it was an outing, and we truly enjoyed ourselves.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
And now it's time for your check on sports with Shane Stubbs.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Shane Stubbs, and welcome to another edition of Sports. The Rosina Nesbitt Oriole Notes High School Volleyball League playoffs are set to begin. Let's take a listen to the coaches and players. The Rosina Nesbitt Oriole Notes High School Volleyball playoffs are set to begin this coming Thursday at the St. George's Gymnasium, and the teams are ready to get going.
and we're going in number 2 into the playoffs. However, I think that the playing field is level, so no one team is that much better than the other team. So whoever comes to play on that day, could take the game.
I feel like we're going to do good. We're still undefeated. We're going to be undefeated in the playoffs.
They've steadily got better, and that's all I can ask for them. They've improved. They've worked hard. They've been out there at lunchtimes practicing.
I expect the boys to come out and show their best, everything that they would have done in practice, or their best skills, and I want to see it exhibited on the court.
We just look forward to good games. As always, we look forward to good games. We still see where we have some little weaknesses to work on, so we're definitely going to work on them. We're now in the playoffs.
The action starts at 3:30 p.m. with senior girls play when Vanina C. Smith Academy takes on the St. George's Jaguars, followed by the Tabernacle Falcons facing the Mary Star Crusaders and the BMES Warriors going up against the Jack Haywood Wildcats. How about some baseball? GB Little League's 12U team seeing action over in West Palm Beach, Florida. This past weekend, the crew defeated the Dominican Republic 10-5, but lost to the United States 7-4 and the U.S. Virgin Islands 8-6. It was a great experience as the league gets ready for their upcoming season. And finally, for sports, the IL Cares Tip-Off Basketball Classic continuing as they head into today's semifinals round. The Sunland Stingers defeating Study Hall Academy 73-37. The Tabernacle Falcons defeated the A-Mile Rock Blue Jays 47-27. The St. George's Jaguars defeated the BMES Warriors 35-20, and the Stingers outlasted the Jack Haywood Wildcats 42-30. In the semifinals, defending champion the Stingers will play the 8 Mile Rock Blue Jays, while the Wildcats go up against the Falcons to determine Wednesday night's championship clash, set for tip-off at 5 o'clock p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your quick look at sports. I'm Shane Stubbs. Be safe and be great.
My name is Janelle Mizik, Communication Specialist at the Grand Bahama Power Company, coming to you with an energy efficiency tip from Grand Bahama Power Company's Smart Home. Let's talk about appliance maintenance. Just like your vehicle, your appliances require some level of servicing in order to continue to operate at a healthy level. If you were to go for a long period of time without servicing your vehicle, changing your oil, or rotating your tires, eventually your car will stop working. The same goes for your appliances. Dirty dryer vents can cause a fire hazard. Clean your dryer's lint trap, as well as your dryer's ductwork. Vacuum or blow off your refrigerator's coils in order to keep them running efficiently. Check your refrigerator or freezer's seals to ensure that they are in good condition. If they become hard, petroleum jelly can be used to soften them. Clean the filter of your range hood or replace it when necessary. If you have a self-cleaning oven, use that feature only when home so that you can monitor it. Your air conditioning units should be tested yearly by a technician to ensure that it's working correctly, as dirt and dust can limit your cooling and shorten your unit's lifespan. Keep in mind that all appliances have a limited lifespan. You should maintain a budget in order to avoid the unexpected cost of having to replace them. For this and more energy efficiency tips, visit us at the Smart Home in the Region Center or follow us on Facebook.
West Grand Bahama District Council presents the first annual Central Government Agency Fair, Saturday, November 5th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the 8 Mile Rock High School Gym. Government and corporate assistance under one roof. Sponsored by the Honorable Obadiah H. Wilchcombe, Member of Parliament for the West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency.
Hi, I'm Wes. I like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I would like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Let us put shoes on your feet.
Digital bidding for government contracts is now better than ever. All business owners are encouraged to register on the new and improved e-procurement and supplies registry system to access all government contracts. Never miss another opportunity to grow your business. Registration takes just 5 minutes and gives you instant access to notifications of business opportunities and the ability to submit bids to the Bahamas government. Want to learn more? Visit moffvendors.gov.bs and register today.
BTVI will be visiting the Abaco Career Fair, the Patrick Bethel High School, and the SC Boodle High School Wednesday, November 2nd, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Dealing with your government documents should not be a hassle. Not when you have the proper information. The West GB District Council wants to point our residents in the right direction with the first annual Central Government Agency Fair. Both government and corporate agencies under one roof. Come seek the information you will need to have them sorted out. No one under 15 admitted. Please travel with 2 forms of government ID. Saturday, November 5th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the 8 Mile Rock High School Gymnasium. For more details, phone 348-1080 or 1085. Sponsored by the Honorable Obadiah H. Wilshcombe, MP for West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Tonight, we salute our Deputy Director, Joan Davis Roll, for 36 years at the Northern Service. We salute you for your years of service and commitment to the news, radio, and marketing departments. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of the entire ZNS News team, I'm Simone Davis. Thank you so much for watching, but be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, pharmacies muscle up against the government. Public outcry over private pharmacy closures. Tourism officials sweet talk in Maple Country. And Carifta gets title sponsor. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
ZNS News is linked up by BTC. Whether it's chatting, gaming, content creating, or working smart to get things done, link up to stay connected with BTC.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Makush Lapinder, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. Closure short-lived for private pharmacies throughout New Providence and Grand Bahama, which today took a stance and shut down their operations, all in hopes of strong-arming the government to listen to their concerns once and for all. The news of the intended closure spreading like wildfire last evening after being posted on social media, a position the Bahamas Pharmaceutical Association was determined to stand by to keep their businesses afloat, staff and customers happy in the face of ever-rising inflation. Ahead of a number of them reopening later today, the association laid bare their concerns to our Altavis Munnings.
If you have to fill a prescription at a private pharmacy like Lowe's on Soldier Road, where a pharmacist is always on duty, you're going to have to change your plans, as private pharmacies in the Providence and Grand Bahama have temporarily closed their doors until further notice. It's a decision made by members of the Bahamas Pharmaceutical Association, and according to its president, Shantia McBride, they're hoping to get the Prime Minister's ear to address their concerns on those new price control regulations.
First would be a VAT holiday, because as we know, removing the VAT would bring the greatest decrease in pricing to the public. So by removing VAT, we would then get a better economic relief in this short period of time. We then asked for us to remain where we're at, which is 15% for 25% for wholesalers and 50% for retailers. During this time, we would now sit with the government and find ways in which, through the categories or through different means, how we could continue this economic relief beyond 3 months.
Pharmacy operators believe that the list of products affected by the government's price control amendment, representing some 60 to 70% of the pharmaceutical industry's revenue, would make it difficult to make money on anything else. They also acknowledge that current markups have been in place for more than 40 years now, and in spite of the increase in overhead, there's been no increase in markups since then. Add to that the fines levied from price control inspections.
And if we are inspected, there's a fine of, I think at max, $5,000 per line. So when you go to $5,000 and then reduce it by thousands per line, that small pharmacy may close today due to that one fine. You know, we may be fined multiple ranges of categories. Even a bigger pharmacy can't sustain that. So it's in our best interest to close today because we were not prepared for this November 1st enforcement.
Pharmacists acknowledge the public's pushback on their temporary closure, but their position is clear. This is in the country's best interest.
It may seem not to be so because we are closed. We did provide information so that you could seek assistance at the public clinics or at the public hospitals. Contact your physician. You may could get another prescription right to take to them. But this is for the best of the nation, for full economic relief, not just 2 months or 3 months.
Pharmaceutical Association members even camped outside the office of the Prime Minister in Cable Beach Tuesday to meet with either the Prime Minister or a member of his cabinet. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Altaviz Munnings.
Well, private pharmacies' decision to close met with a no-nonsense warning from the government's point man on the issue. Fern Carey lets us in on the economic minister's response to the temporary standoff.
Minister of Economic Affairs, Senator the Honorable Michael Halkitis, urging private pharmacies to follow the law and reopen their doors to the public immediately. His comments come after privately owned pharmacies shut down temporarily on Tuesday after claiming they had not been consulted ahead of the implementation of price control amendment regulations which take effect today. However, Minister Halkitis says the price control changes actually took effect on October 17th, but the government did not enforce it. He acknowledged that he received a letter last Thursday from the Pharmacy Association and that the government was reviewing the proposal and preparing a response when the pharmacies shut their doors without notice. He stressed that he does not expect the issue of consultation to be used as a means of forestalling and delaying government action.
We understand that there is some concern about complete implementation of the amendments. And as you mentioned, there was some concern about people being afraid of the fines. But we want to stress that we expect complete implementation. We are prepared for those who are in the middle of implementation and might need a few days to make sure that they are have completely implemented the amendments. We are prepared to forego enforcement, but we are not prepared to countenance total disregard for the law and taking a stance as if they will not implement at all.
Minister Halkitis reiterated that the amendments are intended to bring relief to consumers grappling with rising inflation.
No, we're not heavy-handed at all. What we said is that we will delay enforcement until the 1st of November. We had we would be fully within our rights to have enforced from the 17th of October. Right. We said that we will not enforce, expecting that there, when you say consultation, we expected there to be a move towards implementation so that when we do come to enforce, we may be able to say there's not complete implementation, but there's an effort being made. We do not expect that there will be a total disregard for the amendment and a view that this consultation or this negotiation, however it's phrased, will go on forever.
Now, grocers are also reportedly in a standoff with the government over the amendments, but Minister Halkitis warned that the law will be enforced.
My reaction to that is, we are not prepared to countenance a disregard for the law. And we can understand if someone says we need some time, we're working towards it, but we need time for full implementation. What we will not countenance is someone saying, I will not obey the law. All of these, particularly when we look at the pharmacies, they have obligations under the law in terms of operating in the public interest. And the grocers, if some of them take the position that they will disregard the law, then there are consequences under the law.
Members of the Pharmacy Association gathered at Cabinet Tuesday morning hoping to meet with the government. However, Halkitis told reporters that would not be possible as the weekly Cabinet meeting was in play. He admonished pharmacies to reopen their doors, stressing that the government will not tolerate disregard for the law. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Fern Carey.
Meantime, health officials weren't taking any chances, having gotten the news of private pharmacies suspending operations. Hoping to fill the void, public clinics extended their time, some as late as 9 this evening. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville this morning assured the public hospitals authorities' ability to meet the demand.
We have means and ways how we can access medications out of the country. But as far as I am aware, the wholesalers are still operating, and there is some contractual agreements that we have with the Public Hospitals Authority that I believe is not in jeopardy. I believe most of this is at the private pharmacy level and not so much at the wholesalers.
Now, Minister Darville maintains health professionals will properly assess their current pharmaceutical arrangements over the next few days.
Our job is to make sure that we have the pharmaceuticals to treat the necessary illnesses, particularly chronic non-communicable diseases. We feel that we have the capability to do so through this particular period, and we have stepped up to the plate. And so all of our pharmacies throughout the Family Island is on alert, and all of our pharmacies and urgent care facilities have extended their hours to provide these services for the Bahamian people.
Now, as you can imagine, the Princess Margaret Hospital's pharmacy, a beehive of activity earlier today, with many of its customers waiting in line to get their prescriptions filled for essential medication. Desmond Saunders has that angle to the story.
The closure of several pharmacies in the capital led to a mad rush of patients hoping to secure much-needed medical supplies here at the pharmacy of the Princess Margaret Hospital.
And you wait, and you wait, and you wait. So I was here from 8 o'clock this morning, and still here now waiting on prescription to be refilled. Some is new prescription and some is refill. I have private service entity, but I also have a doctor here that I'm seeing.
Since 8 this morning, persons have been waiting for hours to get their prescriptions filled. Shocked by recent events involving pharmaceuticals, these patients are eager for a favorable end to an unfortunate situation.
I think it's really pathetic whereby the pharmacy has to close down, because the pharmacy is the place to, it's a part of health for people to revive themselves through sickness and so forth, that all the pharmacy are closed, whereby that everybody is flunking PMH trying to get prescription.
An above average period for PMH pharmacists who serviced over 200 patients in both outpatient and inpatient care services. Acting chief pharmacist at the Princess Margaret Hospital, Dr. Valencia Johnson-Thompson.
We have had private refills and prescriptions to fill today. We also service our regular customers, our PMH customers, and Department of Public Health customers.
Administrator at the Princess Margaret Hospital, Mary G. Lightbourne Walker, says there's more than enough medicine to meet the potential influx. Added shifts for some of the 12 pharmacists if needed. No determination made to extend the operating hours, and patients needing urgent care not being turned away.
We've been managing and trying to do our best. We're going to make sure that the shifts are covered so that we can do a response to the patients as they need it if we do increase in volume at this time. You must appreciate that we do offer the outpatient service, but we are an inpatient facility, and so the pharmacists still have to be available for the inpatients as well.
Officials here at the Princess Margaret Hospital say they are ready, and they are monitoring the situation to meet the growing demand of patients. Here at the Princess Margaret Hospital, Desmond Saunders, The Bahamas Tonight.
Well, the opposition Free National Movement mincing no words at a press briefing to address a number of issues, among them the government's decision to expand the price control list and the subsequent closure of private pharmacies. Again, those pharmacies reopened earlier today. F&M leader Michael Pintard at the time argued that the decision was not thought out and could have dire consequences on the medical conditions and employment statuses of thousands of Bahamians. Pintard strongly recommends the government seek further consultations before making hasty decisions.
One decision the government ought to have made that they're not keen on doing in most areas is to conduct an analysis to determine whether or not a solution that they are considering is going to have unintended bad consequences. In this case, they did not conduct the appropriate analysis. Secondly, the government failed to consult. So in the absence of a study, it is absolutely necessary for policymakers to have a conversation with the sectors that are going to be affected. They made technical errors So where they thought they were maybe affecting 38 items, it turns out that they could very well be affecting hundreds, if not thousands of items.
Adding to that, party chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands says he's deeply saddened by today's turn of events.
The overwhelming majority of pharmacy owners are struggling out there. It's a very difficult business with very limited profit margins, okay? A number of them find it challenging, particularly since their real property tax just went up, since the cost of energy just went up, since their labor cost just went up, their shipping cost just went up, and so on and so forth. And so they look and say, why am I being targeted? Why don't you go and put price control on legal fees? Why don't you go put price control on architectural fees? Why don't you go put price control on accounting fees? Why don't you put price control on something else? Because, you know, price control is not a particularly effective means of making life better for the public.
Now, while the Pharmaceutical Association last night would have sent notice about their intention to close, many consumers were left in the proverbial dark. Their reaction this morning as they were greeted to closed signs: shock. A reaction our Anthony Smith tells us more about tonight.
An unwitting surprise for consumers strolling up this morning to their local pharmacies.
It's very disappointing.
Instead of meeting the usual line at the drug counter, consumers were greeted to locked doors and shuttered windows. Signage posted on a placard reading, "To our valued customers, unforeseen circumstances has forced all our stores to close."
I mean, someone home with diabetic issues might need their medication and can't get it.
Somebody may be dying today.
It's a stance from local suppliers that many consumers struggle to wrap their heads around. The sudden closure of private pharmacies across the island in retaliation to government-imposed price control on medication.
But I also believe the private pharmacies are overpriced, so I believe the price control is a good thing for that, for the public to benefit.
But it's a stance not shared by pharmas, who argue that some 60 to 70% of their revenue is affected by new price control measures, forcing profit margins so low it, quote, threatens their ability to survive in an already challenging business environment. Consumers contend, though, that it's actually quite simple and that people should just come before profits.
The people should come first, yes. People should come first.
People's illness should come above profits, and I believe that they should be more concerned about the healthcare people as opposed to the prices.
Talk to the government and the Prime Minister and see if he can work out something for them, the best thing for them, where everybody can win, because these are some very tough times.
Following public agitation and a demonstration at OPM this morning, pharmacies have since reopened their doors. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Anthony Smith.
Well, still on health news, some $500,000 worth of renovations have been completed on the RAND lab at the Princess Margaret Hospital, with the upgrades expected to address ongoing challenges at that facility. Health Minister, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, says the upgrades are also part of ongoing efforts to improve the delivery of healthcare services across the country.
The morgue itself has adequate freezer space, but of course, in the events of pandemics or natural disasters, we have a plan that we're about to activate, but this was the first step to basically get this facility to a point whereby we can provide the services more efficiently. But mass casualty is something that is on the drawing board for the PHA, the government, and we have some strategic plans in order to be able to facilitate, God forbid, we have a situation similar to Hurricane Dorian.
Plans are also underway to build a national morgue here in the capital.
We can agree that that particular facility will be responsible for the National Morgue and the National Reference Lab and Diagnostic Center. So as we plan with our medical planners for that new tertiary facility, morgue facilities will be available, while this particular facility will remain open until that is in complete swing.
and CBS Bahamas. We are monitoring 2 tropical storms this evening. The first is Lisa, which at 5 o'clock was located some 220 miles east of Belize. It's moving towards the west at about 15 miles per hour. Maximum sustained winds have increased to 65 miles per hour, and Lisa is expected to make hurricane intensity by Wednesday night before making landfall on the east coast of Belize. And once it moves inland, we anticipate that it will be cut off from its moisture source, and that will lead to some rapid weakening as we head into Thursday of this week. And then secondly, we have Martin, which formed earlier today. Tropical Storm Martin was some 630 miles to the east-northeast of Bermuda. Martin is moving to the east at 13 miles per hour. Maximum sustained winds here are at 60 miles per hour. Again, we expect some intensification of this system. Martin is expected to become a hurricane later on tonight or tomorrow, and thereafter it is expected to transition into a very strong extratropical system. Elsewhere in the tropics, tropical cyclone development is not likely over the next 5 days. This has been a Tropical Weather Update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas.
A collision here in New Providence, and winter birds welcomed in the Bahamas. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more when we return.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
You have enough things to worry about. Living in a world that can seem opposite of the things you are trying to accomplish.
I can need a little help with my business.
We're here to let you know that you don't have to go at it alone. Choose peace of mind. Choose comfort. Choose CB. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet's so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet's so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine's so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine's so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
What makes us experts? Every bite. And while it's impossible to know how many there have been in KFC's history, each one of them is crucial. Because our secret travels from mouth to mouth. And we know that the first bite will never be the last. Kentucky Deluxe Chicken Sandwich, a triple breaded chicken breast, premium mayo, pickles, lettuce, tomato, and cheese on a buttery brioche bun. All our chicken expertise in a sandwich. Kentucky Deluxe Chicken Sandwich, only at KFC Nassau.
What is an equity? Hi, my name is D.R. Cerami Jr.
And my name is Winston Roll.
And we're with Arawak X. So what is an equity?
An equity is where, in our context, where a company, or as we call them, issuer, wants to raise capital to grow their business, and so they offer shares to the public so that persons can buy those shares or buy an equity stake in that company. And that equity stake is something that they can use to trade. It can be used as an asset, or they can sell it at a later time. And of course, the option is once the company continues to grow, they can get dividends for that asset as well.
Want to learn more about investing? Sign up for an Arawak X account and get access to our investor education portal. Arawak X accounts have 0 sign-up fees, 0 monthly maintenance fees, and take only 7 minutes to sign up. Visit arawakx.com or scan the QR code on the screen to get started.
Today, we're doing a beach cleanup. So it makes us think about, number one, the plastic is coming from all around the world. And then we have an international team working on this beach to remove that plastic to make this community better.
This is one of those beaches that always has marine debris that washes up, and so we're doing our projects to remove as much of it as possible.
We have a lot of key species and native and migratory species that rely on our beaches for nesting sites or food. So it means a lot for Disney to be a part of this and for me to be a part of this initiative.
Mother Earth is all that we have to rely on in general. So if we don't find ourselves being involved,
with keeping it the way it should be kept, then we find ourselves neglecting one of the most important things in life.
The Disney volunteers are everywhere trying to make a difference. If you could see the amount of debris we picked up off of this beach, I feel we did make a difference here today.
Traffic came to a standstill in southwestern New Providence today after a traffic collision led to the death of a man in his late 30s and 3 others badly injured. LaDon Davis rushed to the scene and has the details in this report.
Scattered contents, 2 badly damaged vehicles, and numerous injuries. It was shortly before 1 Tuesday afternoon. The traffic police got the news of a head-on car collision on the busy Fire Trail Road West thoroughfare. The smash-up involving a white Suzuki Swift and what appeared to be a gray CRV. Here's officer in charge of the traffic division, Chief Superintendent David Lockhart, with the added details.
What we can tell you, our preliminary investigation revealed that the white vehicle that you see behind us was traveling east on Fire Trail Road, and the bronze vehicle was traveling west. The white vehicle attempted to overtake another vehicle that was traveling east, and as a result collided with the bronze vehicle that was traveling west. As a result, all persons involved received serious injuries, and 1 male succumbed to his injuries on scene.
The victim believed to be in his early to mid-30s, while the 2 passengers of the Suzuki and the driver of the CRV are fighting for their lives in hospital. As to whether speed was a factor, Lockhart said at this point he's unsure.
The persons in that vehicle, they work for a shipping company, and they was transporting goods in that vehicle at the time of this collision.
As we head into the festive season, Lockhart is strongly encouraging Bahamians to slow down, obey the rules of the road to ensure they arrive alive.
We encourage persons to travel within the posted speed limit. This road, if I am correct, is 30 miles an hour. I don't know. This road is not that long. I don't think there was a need, or there is a need, to be overtaking on a road like this. But it is not prohibited. Where he was overtaking is an area that he can overtake. There's broken lines that indicate that he's able. So he was within the constraints of the law in overtaking where there are broken lines. However, I can't tell you if he took into account the other factors when overtaking. So we're saying to persons, if you are going to overtake, you must take into account the area you're overtaking, and then when is it appropriate to overtake at the time, because you have to take into account that oncoming vehicles, if you're able to overtake safely and then get back into your lane. And as always, we encourage people to obey all the rules and regulation of the road.
Meantime, the condition of the other 3 persons involved in this latest traffic fatality is still unknown at this time. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm LaDon Davis.
From the overnight crime beat, a 26-year-old woman could very well find herself before a magistrate real soon in connection with a stabbing early Monday morning, 1 a.m. to be exact. Police said the victim was at his Pinewood Gardens home and he got into an altercation with a female who stabbed him multiple times in the back. The wounded man has since been treated and discharged. As for the woman, a resident of Churchill Drive, she's been arrested. Meantime, a 26-year-old Camp Road man's in hospital under police guard after he was shot by officers following an armed robbery at a Pyfram Road business on Monday. It was just after 5 p.m. when officers responded to an armed robbery in progress when they spotted a male fitting the description of the suspect running off. Officers followed as far as St. James Road, where they attempted to arrest the suspect. However, he engaged the officers, resulting in him being shot. At last report, the suspect was in stable condition. Well, the Director of Public Prosecutions management of that office coming under scrutiny. National Security Minister, the Honorable Wayne Munro, says a meeting with the director is being arranged to address concerns raised by the police and other stakeholders.
The police fall under my purview. They come and they give me their views, their feedback on it. I wouldn't wish to engage on the full range of matters we have to engage with them, but the matters that are in the public domain, because questions have been coming about it, is they're not pleased, for instance, that you could have a case for murder that is being defended by 2 Queen's Counsel and a number of junior lawyers, and he would not be doing it personally, and people at a higher level would not be doing it. That's regarded by the officers who work the case as being disrespectful to their work.
Well, the minister says added issues have surfaced in the justice system.
We are encountering the issue, as you would have seen and been documented, of persons being admitted to bail for armed robbery murders, being ordered to be electronically monitored, breaching the terms of their bail insofar as that is concerned, going back to court, being fined in many cases, and not remanded. The issue there is that the courts respond to what is happening. He is independently in charge of the prosecutorial system. I have not been advised that there have been any appeals of those decisions onward to the Court of Appeal. That is troubling to me as a practitioner who has been in practice for 3 decades.
In more upbeat news this evening, attracting more airlift to the Bahamas and luring more Canadian tourists to the sunny isles of the Bahamas, the focus of the Ministry of Tourism's latest mission. In this report, our Cleopatra Murphy chatted with Tourism's Deputy Director on why the Canadian market is such an important one.
Canada is not the Bahamas' largest tourist market, but stopover arrivals have increased significantly, more than 1,000% July year-to-date 2022 compared to the same time the year before. With those numbers growing, the team from the Ministry of Tourism is now in Toronto, Canada, hoping to further build what Deputy Director General of Tourism Kenneth Romer says is a key market with its missions.
These missions are very critical for us to re-engage our market, especially in this post-pandemic era, when our competitors have an insatiable desire to regain market share. Canada is a very important market segment for the Bahamas. Visitors from Canada tend to stay longer. They spend more, so even though they are significantly less than our U.S. Arrivals, Canada is a very important mission for us.
The team met Monday night to strategize its plan to re-engage existing partners and draw in new ones, be they investors, travel agents, or airlines. With several missions completed, Romer says the ministry is seeing returns on its investments.
One of our key organizational priorities is to increase stopover arrivals to the islands of the Bahamas. So we're seeing, especially in the third quarter of the year and going into Q4, that these missions seek to say to persons that the Bahamas is indeed open for business, that we are not just open for business, but that we are actually better than we were even pre-pandemic.
Should anyone question the true value of the missions like the one to Canada, Romer says they have an impact on the wider Bahamas.
7 out of 10 persons are directly or indirectly employed through tourism. So when we come on these missions, we're really carrying the banner for our country across our chest and the weight of our country again on our shoulders. Dependent upon tourism, GDP, strong our vendors, taxi drivers, those in our hospitality industry, and those who are indirectly employed. So even though we might be here physically, again, we are representing the entire Bahamas on these missions.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Well, now time for the weekly poll question, and this week we're asking, should government officials publicly disclose the cost of foreign trips? Now, to participate, simply log on to our website, that's www.znesbahamas.com, as well as any of our social media platforms to answer. That's all it takes. The poll's final results will be aired on Friday, and as always, thanks for participating. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more after the break.
When you want to save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you want to look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
used to think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem. Just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
Are you a contractor or new homeowner? Maybe you need a few pieces of lumber for your DIY projects. Welcome to Capital Lumber, the newest building materials company in the Bahamas. Located on Parkgate Road, Nassau, helping you to maximize your savings on lumber, cement, shingles, tools, and much more. Your one-stop shop for all your building essentials. With free delivery to the mail booth, visit us today. Capital Lumber, build strong.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A brand that you can trust. Family Guardian.
A Bahamian is headed into space. And not only that, Aisha Bowe is the first black woman to accompany Amazon's chief Jeff Bezos and his Blue Origin team on New Shepard. Bowe, a former NASA scientist, will be the 6th black woman ever to cross the Kármán line, known as the internationally recognized boundary of space. This mission comes 30 years after former NASA astronaut Mae Jemison became the first black woman to travel to space back in 1992. Well, the bravery of 4 Marines killed in the line of duty back on May 10, 1980, memorialized during an investiture ceremony where they posthumously received an award given to only one other since its establishment 6 years ago. Lloyd Allen has the story.
The 4 lost their lives in your company while working in defense of the fledgling Bahamas 42 years ago. You served an enduring reminders of the courage, the tenacity, and fortitude that make a hero.
Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis Casey informing Marines of the past and present that as the nation conducts its series of investiture ceremonies, the RBDF remains a vital component of the country's success and growth.
Today, in a significant gesture of gratitude, we posthumously confer the Order of Lakeman Whitey to Able Seaman Fenrick Stirrup, Marine Seaman David Tucker, Marine Seaman Edward Williams, and Marine Seaman Austin Smith. And we award the Medal of Bravery to you who are present. We pray that in this way, we honor the memory of our dear sons of the soil and afford their families a peace that comes with knowing that their loved ones did not live or die in vain.
National Security Minister the Honorable Wayne Munro adding plans are in the pipeline to continue to recognize stellar officers nationally, as his term in office has provided a first-hand understanding on the role of the Defense Force.
I know that I will hear on Thursday and Friday desires for something much more national,
much more appropriate. And I undertake to convey it immediately to the Prime Minister, who sent me there because he knows the connection I have with the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, and he constantly reminds me that the Royal Bahamas Defense Force is an institution created by the Progressive Liberal Party administration, and that I'm to take good care of the creation of that administration.
Also celebrated during Monday's ceremony, a list of officers receiving medals of acts of bravery, distinguished service medals, and the Order of Champion. Pauline Roll, widow of former commander of the HMBS, the late Amos Roll, says the recognition issued holds significant value to all families of officers, especially those who have given their lives in service.
This is so great. It's sometimes you say it's too late, but it's always a blessing. And I am most grateful to accept it on his behalf. I am just sorry that he is not here, but it's never too late.
The ceremony proving a new chapter for the organization and a well-deserved honor to those dedicated officers. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
The Prime Minister and several members of his cabinet having a light moment before heading into their weekly meeting this morning. Photo ops, flowers, and toothy smiles as the PM greeted 104-year-young Crooked Island native Nellie Moss, who candidly asked, "How do you like your job?" The question prompting quite a chuckle from the Prime Minister, to which Mrs. Moss responded with this blessing.
God to handle it.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I got prayer for you.
Yes, sir.
For God God bless you.
All right.
Amen. You and keep you from all evil.
Oh.
Yes. The Father and the Son.
Yeah.
And the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And tonight, Charles Fisher introduces us to a young man who's determined to feed himself and others in the process.
When most young males want to grow up to be doctors, lawyers, police, or athletes, 10-year-old Tamiko Bryce wants to be a farmer.
Be a farmer so I can grow my own crops and I don't have to buy from the food store.
Since 2018, he has started farming in his own backyard.
I looked at my mommy and daddy farm, and well, at that time I was trying to figure out what I was gonna be when I grow up. So that's when it just happened. I looked at the farm. I just want to become a farmer. This brings my mind, and I started to help with the farm, and it actually was kind of fun. I've been helping my mommy inside a farm, watching farming videos, and help water the plants.
To help him along the way, young Bryce has connected with Sydney Sinclair of Down to Earth Adventure Farm to help him in his journey.
I come to this farm with my mommy, and I was just amazed at the sight of so many crops, and that's how I got in contact. Then I came to him to interview him as my national hero.
Okay, why did you decide to pick him as a national hero? What did he do?
He helped so much people with the farm.
People in the whole entire Bahamas, how is it that he chose me? The reason why I think he chose me as a farmer is because of the type of farm that I built. I built an adventure farm where all the schools actually come here for their field trip. And when the kids them actually come here in the farm, they see that there's many, many options that can actually happen while you're growing and then having fun doing it at the same time.
A real connection from a veteran farmer passing it on to an up-and-coming farmer. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Charles Fisher.
A real good story there, Charles. And as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
Good to grow. Keeping you in the know. Keeping you in the know. God, it's good enough to eat and it's good to grow. It's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow.
Livestock in North Andros have access to more nutritious feed thanks to organic solar. The company supplies fresh feed to animals at the Bahamas Agriculture and Marine Science Institute and other farms on the island. The feed, which is mostly plant-based, is given to chickens, sheep, cows, and goats, just to name a few. Proprietor Saran Dean says his product is beneficial for everyone.
The feed that we grow can feed any domestic livestock, from sheep, cows, horses, goats, chickens. The only thing we would have to do is tweak the amount of days that we grow it for. So if you look at the feed now, the grass is kind of tall. That's suitable for sheep and goats. If we wanted to feed cows, we'd grow it a little bit taller. If we wanted to feed chickens, we'd grow it a little bit shorter because they want more of the green and less of the grass. And that's where you get grass-fed meat comes into place. An extremely important niche market, a very healthy niche market that allows everyone, to eat some healthy food.
Dean spoke about the process of growing the organic feed.
The process takes 7 days. It's 7 days from seed to harvest to feed the sheep. What we do is we grow on a 7-day growth cycle. And once we remove the feed, we put seeds back. And because of the building and the infrastructure that we have in place, it's perfectly designed to feed these and to grow exactly what we need in that amount of time.
Dean says while he's using vertical farming to grow the feed, he hopes to use more climate change technology like solar in the near future. Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Kendia Smith.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
NBA League Pass is the coolest way to watch the hottest game there is. When threes rain down and superstars heat up. When clutch jumpers splash and your team is fire. You'll be there for up to 40 games a week. Any way you want to watch. NBA League Pass. Order now.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance, peace of mind.
An all-new landmark set to take the place of the existing Exuma Ferry Bridge. This as Ministry of Works officials assess the site of the existing bridge, which they say is in need of an overhaul. The current bridge, 565 feet long, was built back in 1965. Since then, years of weathering and saltwater corrosion have taken a toll on the existing structure.
This bridge is critical because it connects Little and Great Exuma. The residents on Little Exuma travel the bridge daily to work, to school. It is also an important historic community in Little Exuma in terms of touristic interests as well as local interests. So it is a matter of priority.
Now, Works officials adding that they are in the preliminary stages of conceptualizing a design before the project can go out to tender.
So if you look below the bridge and you look below the superstructure right now, you'll see a lot of areas where the concrete is deteriorating and falling off. In about 2011, there was a rehabilitation program on this bridge, which was undertaken by the Ministry of Works. And that has been sort of a stopgap in the meantime. But right now, whereas you can't do that again, The vision for this, for the country and the community is to build a new bridge, because now you can incorporate 2 lanes of traffic, because currently it's a single lane bridge. So you have 2 lanes of traffic, which caters for the future expansion in the island, and you would have a dedicated sidewalk for pedestrians.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather, and for that we turn to Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean.
Good evening, Makishla. We are currently under partly cloudy skies. Temperature at 85 degrees. The relative humidity is 74%. Winds are out of the east at 12 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,017.7 millibars. That is 30.02 inches, and the pressure is rising. Temperatures around the Family Islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We protected you. 82 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Green Torquay, and Marsh Harbor, Abaco. The Berry Islands at 85 degrees. 85 also in Alistown, Bimini. 84 in Harbor Island, Roxanne, Eleuthera, 85. Black Point, Exuma, Kemp Space on Andros, and Fresh Creek in Central Andros, all at 84 degrees. 85 in Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rumkey, Georgetown, Exuma, 86 degrees. 86 also in Ragged Island, Clarence, Down Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Maguana, 84. Acklands, 84. Matthew Town, Inagua, 85. And the Turks and Caicos Islands at 82 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center in the Northwestern Islands tonight. Easterly winds at 10 to 15 knots. The wave heights just around 2 to 4 feet. Low tide takes place at 9:05 tonight. For the Central and Southeastern Islands, stronger winds easterly at 15 to 20 knots. Rough seas, they're going to be at 4 to 7 feet. So caution flags remain in place for the Central and Southeastern Islands tonight. And then tomorrow through Thursday, the winds will increase over the northwest Bahamas, becoming northeast at 12 to 18 knots, building 3 to 6 feet. That's your wave heights, by the way. Low tide takes place tomorrow at 9:13 in the morning, with a high tide at 3:34 in the afternoon. And for the Central and Southeastern Islands through Thursday, northeast winds 15 to 20 knots, wave heights 4 to 7 feet, maintaining that small craft caution. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Livingston, Josiah JP. Livingston, Josiah JP. I hear la la la. Josiah JP. I hear la la la. Josiah JP. Don't mind Livingston, Josiah JP. Don't mind Livingston.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Link up with BTC and call it one and done. Link up with BTC and call it one and done.
They are our small business customers, but here at BTC, they're a big priority to us. The Innovation Conference, now into its 4th year, adds the perfect finishing touch to an exciting month of activities geared toward our small business customers. I'll take you inside the Bahama Convention Center so you can understand why the Innovation Conference has become our signature event.
Well, today is our Innovation Conference. So, you know, all month long, we've been celebrating Small Business Month. It's actually a pillar that BTC underpinned a few years ago just to ensure that we were able to celebrate the entrepreneurs within our society because, of course, they make up more than 80% of the economy. And we know one month is not enough, but definitely it's a start to what we're going to be doing with our small business community.
Well, this is a wonderful time to be here. This is the Innovation Conference. Like I said before, this is 4 years. I think this is the 4th show. We started off right here in the hotel. It's fantastic for the small business community. We are able to provide the small business community with our digital solutions, and with that allows our small businesses to flourish.
Today is really what we're excited about because it gives us an opportunity to be in person with our small business owners that give them access to the know-how, to the people that have done it, and we've changed it up a bit, whereas we're now doing a session where it's more of an in-person learning session, masterclass effect.
There are always exciting things happening for our small business customers, so be sure to check out our social media pages for more information. These are still the moments that move us. I'm Corval Pyford. Be well and be back here. Next, BTC Connection.
You need
Link up.
I've been blown away. Totally love the vibe to really be able to lead this process. I feel a great sense of gratitude around being able to have Shelly to be here with us.
This event was one that you had to be here.
You know, any time that I am able to spend time with especially young women who have aspirations and things they want to achieve, it is just always wonderful. So this has been a terrific experience today.
Hey, it's your honorary pump attendant here to educate you on the do's and don'ts at the service station. Here's what you don't do. Do not pull up from the pump without first checking that the nozzle has been removed from your car. Because if you pop this, that's about $600,000 to $30,000 to replace. These things ain't cheap. What you want to do is make sure that the nozzle has been removed, or just wait for the universal sign, which is the double tap.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet's so fast, I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet's so fast, I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine's so fast, when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine's so fast, when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
The Sports Report is brought to you by Hoop Fest in Paradise, December 16th to the 17th at the Kendall Jill Isaacs Gym. The best in U.S. and Bahamian high school basketball.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sports Tuesday. I'm Charles Fisher. The Carifta Games just months away, and the Carifta Organizing Committee getting a major donation this morning. Oak Tree Medical Center coming on as a title sponsor. Dr. Don DeVoe gracious in making the presentation to the Carifta Organizing Committee.
We stand here as strong advocates of sports and youth development. And the Carifta Games, for us, embodies the spirit of unity, strength, and teamwork. None of us here today can boast that we are self-made or that we have crossed the finish line on our own. We stand as a people and a developing nation on the shoulders of so many who have selfishly gave themselves to make this gem in the archipelago, the Bahamas, world class.
Games CEO Lyndon Maycock thanking Dr. DeVoe and the Oak Tree family and encouraging other corporate sponsors to come on board.
Dr. DeVoe would have given 10% of what the team will be receiving this year as sponsorship. And that sponsorship level is $3 million from corporate Bahamas, November 1st. November 30th, those financial statements will be posted for the people of the Bahamas to see where their money will be spent on. And so for the first time, the people of the Bahamas will go to the Carifta website page and see financial reports on how their monies will be spent. We anticipate that the government of the Bahamas will give funding for the capital works. The Carifta Games, through Corporate Bahamas, will pay for its operations part of the games. And so, with that $3 million, that should cover significantly the operations for the games.
November being dubbed National Sports Month. Giving the details was the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Boleg.
The theme for Sports Month is the awakening power of sports. For this year's Sports Month, we will host a variety of sporting events and physical activities throughout the Bahamas, including activities on Grand Bahama, Abaco, Bimini, Eleuthera, Andros, and Long Island. And so on November 6th, we will be worshiping as a sporting community, and we invite all federations and associations to join us at Mount Tabor Union Baptist Church. Each week, the ministry will be hosting a lunch and learn program where guest speakers will talk about topics regarding fitness, nutrition, injury, treatment, and self-care. These lectures will be available online as well as Zoom. Coaches from a variety of disciplines will also appear on talk shows weekly to discuss their journeys, coaching philosophies, and hopes for the future of their respective sports. The crown jewel of the month will be our Hall of Fame inductee ceremony, where Bahamians from a variety of sports will be celebrated by the sporting community. These great men and women have assisted the growth and development of sports in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and in their own unique ways, we are all excited to celebrate these stewards of their sports.
Former American track and field athlete Tommy Smith won the 20 meters at the 1968 Olympics, but it was his Black Power salute with John Carlos atop of the medal podium to protest racism and injustice against African Americans in the United States caused controversy. It remains a symbolic moment in the history of the Black Power movement.
Power we stood on back in '68 resonated throughout. Not only track and field, but you got the basketball, football, tennis even, and it just resonates because what it was a totalitarian action by athletes who knew what was going on and not afraid to take the challenge of continuation. Because the freedom of speech is a constitutional right, and that's what we did, but it was athletically done. I don't believe that very many groups of athletes, like the Olympic Project for Human Rights, took part in the growing of society. And John Carlos and Tommy Smith stood on a victory stand, implicating the need for us to continue to be viable in a system that was growing.
A teacher for the last 40 years, Smith has written 2 books.
I'm not just talking to see my lips flap, but we do things to make people understand that they have a responsibility as well.
Track and field started the movement. Now he's happy to see other sports getting on board.
Track and field is it. Well, in my terminology of moving forward, that's what it is, because I was involved in it, along with teaching of the young kid that you have a responsibility. Well, first one is growing up in the right frame of mind to move forward. Everybody's going to move forward, but with the right frame of mind, constitutionally and lawfully is one thing, just moving forward with nothing to do is another. That's when you get in trouble, when you have nothing to do. So you make your own problem, and it's not good trouble either. It's the trouble that can put you in jail. So track and field is on the leading edge of continuation of good trouble, because we are trouble sometimes, but we're moving forward in a right direction.
Smith here as part of the USA Legends of Track and Field. A good conversation with a legend in the sport. And that's going to do it for Sports Tuesday. I'm Charles Fisher. Thanks for watching.
The Sports Report was brought to you by Hoop Fest in Paradise, December 16th to the 17th at the Kendall G. Isaacs Gymnasium, the best in U.S. and Bahamian high school basketball.
I've been blown away. Totally love the vibe to really be able to lead this process. I feel a great sense of gratitude around being able to have Shelly to be here with us.
This event was one that you had to be here.
You know, any time that I am able to spend time with especially young women who have aspirations and things they want to achieve, it is just always wonderful. So this has been a terrific experience today.
Welcome to the all-new CBS Pro Store. We'll be introducing various products such as plywood, sheetrock, metal stud, and a whole array of bulk construction products. But you can expect the same high level of service that you have been receiving at CBS Bahamas. We originally opened the store in 1980 as our retail location. Hearing from our customers that they wanted us to cater more to contractors, we decided to open the CBS Pro Store here at Robinson Road. So come by and visit us at CBS Pro Store on Robinson Road, where we can help you build beautiful.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I could watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles done cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, satellite pictures showing high pressure in control, and that will be building, so you will see an increase in the winds over the next several days. But there's some patchy clouds over the extreme northwest Bahamas, and that could trigger some isolated showers around Grand Bahama and Abaco tonight. Our forecast for tonight calls for showers possible, otherwise partly cloudy and warm. Low temperature, 78 degrees. And tomorrow, we're looking at partly sunny, a bit on the hot side, 85 degrees for your high temperature. Extended weather forecast over the next 7 days. Showers will work their way back into the forecast on Thursday, courtesy of a frost.
What the issue is? Are you sure they can subclip it? They can subclip that?
We didn't finish it.
Trying to see if they can subclip it so we can just continue on and they just.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.